Hi everyone. Arpit here. Uh, so today it's a time to share my knowledge virtually with the Scottish Summit 2024. I know like I'm not attending this year, the Scottish Summit 24 in person this year, but as I already told, like my connection with the event and its vibrant community remains strong. Yeah, so I've joined the event last year in person, and I met with various guys from the community, Microsoft MVPs, and it was a fantastic event. And this time I'm sharing my knowledge virtually, and I'm glad that Scottish Summit given me the chance to share the knowledge with you virtually. So I chosen the topic Azure AD B2C. That is one of the most challenging configuration that the community looks for. I know like there are a lot of challenges that community people or the portal developer faces when they are setting up the Azure AD B2C in the Power Pages. So based on my personal experience, I've been doing Power Pages projects from last couple of years, and I've been working. Those who knows me from the community, I've been working since the portal was known as the AD Studio. So I know like how it grown from last couple of years, and I have done a lot of magics in the Azure AD B2C in last couple of years. So just in next 1 hour, I just wanted to discuss about like some of the mystery behind the Azure AD B2C. There are a lot of questions like how to smoothly set up the Azure AD B2C configurations, and how to automate the invitation process. So all the things we're going to look into it in the next 1 hour. Yeah. Before proceeding to the slide deck, I just wanted to thank all our sponsors, ProMaximo, Locoder, Rida, Cubex. So I was just wanted to thanks everyone, and of course all the organizer of the Scottish Summit. So I just wanted to say wish a good luck to them as well. Hope you going to have a very good session. So just wanted to give a quick introduction about me. My name is Arpit Shrivastava. I am 4 times awarded Microsoft MVP. I'm also 4 time awarded Microsoft Certified Trainer as well. I've been working and playing around with the Power Platform and the Dynamic 365 from last couple of years. I've been working from last almost 12 years, and I have a very good extensive knowledge on the Power Platform. Especially my favorite topics are Power Apps and the Power Pages. I've been speaking in various community events. I've been training a lot of folks across the world. I've been writing blogs since 2019, and I've been running a lot of mentorship challenge or the programs on my YouTube channel as well. So if you just wanted to look into it, like what are the recent challenges, recent videos I have uploaded on my social media, you just go and watch my YouTube channel as well. You can find it with the Arpit Power Guide. I have recently published my book. I know, like if you connected with me on the LinkedIn, I have a lot of I have shared it a lot on my social media as well. So the book title is Learning Microsoft Power Apps. So this book covers all the aspects of Power Apps from its evolution to the revolution. So it covers everything. It covers Canvas app, model driven app. So if you are also looking for the knowledge related to the Dynamic 365C, so this book is also for you because it covers all the aspects, all the fundamentals, all the advanced topic of Dynamic 365C, model driven app, Canvas app, and all the latest updates until July 2024. For example, Microsoft Power Apps, Microsoft Copilot, and you will also get to know a lot of real time examples as well. So if you are a beginner, or if you're planning to if you're planning to jump into the Dynamic 365 space, then it's a perfect book for you. Power Community User Group Coordinator. So I'm also coordinating the Power Community. I'm the ambassador of it. So we are hosting or organizing a lot of community events worldwide. And if you wanted to connect with me on the social media channel, you can just go and watch my YouTube channel. I upload a lot of videos. You can connect me on my website, Arpit Dynamics, arpitpowerguide.com. So this is all about my book. If you wanted to purchase, you can go and buy from the Amazon as well, from the for the print copy, If you want to purchase, if you want to read it online, then it is available on the O'Reilly platform. So you just need to go to the O'Reilly website and just need to find the book name with the title Learning Microsoft Power Apps. Then you can find it. I've been sharing knowledge globally from last almost 10 years. So I have I've delivered 25 plus training across the world. I have trained 5,000 plus trainees. I have given almost around 60 plus sessions till now, and it's counting. I have hosted 10 plus events across the world, volunteered 5 plus events. I am the winner of the hackathon. It's been organized, I think, 2 years back in Spain, Madrid, Spain. And I'm glad, I get the analytics of that from which particular location of the globe, like my book, are being sold, or the readers are reading my book. So I'm glad, like 30 plus countries till now my book has been reached. So I'm looking forward to reach to other locations as well. All right, so let's get into the today's agenda. So today, as I told, I'm going to discuss about the Azure AD B2C. So first, I just wanted to discuss about the fundamentals of Azure AD B2C. So those who do not know about what is Azure AD B2C, how to set up the B2C. So first, I just wanted to give you the fundamentals about what is Azure AD B2C, what are the different kinds of accounts, and what are the different types of the Active Directory accounts, so that you can integrate with the Power Pages sites. Then we will discuss about how you can integrate your Azure AD B2C with the Power Pages, and then Azure AD B2C for existing customer, and then for new customers, because this is one of the most common use cases. If you already have the customers or the contacts available in your Dataverse, then how you can send them the invitation or allow them to access the Azure AD B2C. Yeah. And then I'll discuss about to migrate other identity providers to the Azure AD B2C, because it might be possibility that you already have some sort of identity provider set up in your Power Pages. Then how you can migrate them to B2C, because Azure AD B2C is the recommended way that Microsoft suggests to use with the Power Pages as a default authentication option. And then at last, I'm going to discuss about some deployment tips related to the Azure AD B2C. All right. All right. So now let's discuss about the Azure AD B2C. So before discussing about the Azure AD B2C, let's first discuss about what are the different kinds of Microsoft ID accounts. Okay. So basically, in the Microsoft Entra ID, the former name is Azure AD. There are several types of accounts you will see. Okay, and each serving a different purposes and roles within an organization identity and access management framework. Okay, so basically, there are three kinds of Microsoft Entra ID accounts you deal with. The first one is the work account. So basically, the work account is something which is associated with your employees or the members of an organization. The second type of accounts is the guest account. So the accounts are typically used for the collaboration purpose. The third type of account is the consumer accounts, and these type of accounts are used for the accessing consumer facing applications. So it's a customer facing applications. Okay. So if you wanted to understand this with a real time example, real world example, so work account typically refer to user identities associated with the employees or the member of an organization, right? So for example, if you are working in an organization and you are the employees of that organization, so you probably have the access of the organization specific resources like your corporate emails, documents, or the some internal applications. That means you are accessing it with your organization account, right? So real world example is, imagine you're working for a company called ABC Corporation, and your work account usually in the form of an email address like john.doe@abccorporation.com. Of course, your organization is ABC Corp, so your domain will be abccorporation.com. Yeah, so it will give you access to the company resources such as corporate network, email system, and the internal collaboration tools like Microsoft Teams and all. Yeah. The second type of account is Azure AD B2B. We also call it as a guest account. So B2B stands for the business to business collaboration. So as the name suggests, guest accounts are basically are the users from outside an organization who are given access to the specific resources within that organization, Microsoft Entra ID. So these accounts are mainly used for working together, so collaboration purpose, so that the external users can access things that the organization has shared with them. If you ever come across the requirement, you share your Canvas app with the external user, right? You know about that. So this is a kind of the examples. So if I talk about in from the real world example perspective, so let's say ABC Corporation collaborates with a partner organization called XYZ. So ABC Corporation invites employees of XYZ to collaborate on a project by granting them the guest access to specific resources within their Azure AD tenant. Yeah. So the employees of the XYZ organization use their existing email address called jane.smith@xyz.com to sign in as a guest user and access the shared resources. Yeah. So that means they are going to use their own credentials. Probably they can store in their own Active Directory, and they use their own credentials and their account to log in into your application, right? You don't need to maintain the username, the password, or their user account in your Active Directory. You just invite them, they log in with their credentials, and then you can revoke their access as well once your process is done, right? You usually use the Azure AD B2B kind of account sometimes whenever you have to use the auditing as well. So sometimes the auditing teams belongs to a different organization, and you want to give them access to your organizational resources, so they just log into your applications or resources with their own user accounts and can access the applications, right? And the third type of account that we are going to discuss more deep dive is the consumer account, or we also call it as Azure AD B2C. It's a business to customer, right? It's a business to consumer. So consumer accounts in the context of Azure AD B2C refers to the user identities created and managed for the customers or the end users or external facing applications. Okay. So these are accounts are used for accessing customer facing application or the services provided by the organization, right? So imagine, let's say ABC Corporation operates an online retail store where customers can purchase products. Customer create accounts on the website using the email address or their own identity providers like customer@gmail.com and their own chosen password. And these accounts are managed by Azure AD B2C and are used for logging into the online store, managing orders, and accessing personalized feature. So the Power Page is one of the best example for that, right? So today in this session, we're going to discuss about like how we can integrate the Power Pages with Azure AD B2C, because Power Pages is an external facing website, is a consumer website who is going to be accessed by the external users or the customers who use their Azure AD B2C account to log into the application. Okay. So these are the different kinds of accounts that we have, and in this session we're going to discuss about the Azure AD B2C. So when you configure the Azure AD B2C in the Microsoft Entra ID account or Active Directory, you need to deal with a lot of components. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate that as well. But before that, I just wanted to give a quick highlight about that what is the significance of the each component. Okay, so the first component is the B2C tenant. All right. So the B2C tenant is, it represent your whole organization. Okay. But always remember it is different from the Microsoft Entra ID account or the Microsoft tenant, right? So let's imagine you already have the Microsoft Entra ID tenant and you want to set up a new Azure AD B2C for your Power Pages site, right? So you need to create a new B2C tenant. You can't use your existing Azure AD or Microsoft Entra tenant to set up the Azure AD B2C. So both tenants are different completely. All right. So this is called a B2C tenant. It's a root level component. The second component is the B2C directory. So if you do, if you are creating the Azure AD B2C setup, if you are setting up the Azure AD B2C configuration for the portal, you need to store a lot of informations, like especially the user credentials, right? Because Azure AD B2C is the main thing, like for it is basically used for the identity management. So of course, it is used to store the user credentials. So along with the user credential, it usually store the user profile data, and your application registration as well. Okay, now what is application registration? So application registration, or we also call it app registration, is also one of the component of Azure AD B2C. It is basically used to enable the identity management. Okay, so if I tell you in a very real time example, so if you go in a particular event, if you want to go in a particular event, you need to register yourself first. Yeah, so once you register for that particular event, you get the unique ID or unique passcode or the ID card from that particular event organization. And at the day of the event, you show that particular ID card or the event registration card to your organizer, to your host, that to enter in the premise, right? In the similar way, Azure AD, if any application wants to log in or sign up using the Azure AD B2C account, you need to register your application first. So, for example, in our case, Power Pages site, we want like all the Power Pages customers uh, should be login, or their credentials should be stored in the Azure AD B2C. That means we need to register our portal application with the B2C account, right? So this is the purpose of the app registration. So app registration basically plays a middleware role between your Azure AD B2C and your host application. All right. The fourth component is the user flows. So user flows is nothing, it's just a authentication process or the authentication flows we set up in the B2C. So that could be your sign in flow, your sign up flow, password reset flow. So it's up to you, like what is your client requirement. So sometimes you only want to set up the sign in user flow. That means you only want to allow user to sign in using the username and password. You don't want to allow them sign up. Okay, sometimes you want to allow sign up as well, so that user can log in, user can go to the sign up page, they can register themselves and then log, and then you they can log in as well. Password reset functionality is basically, if you're forgetting your password, you want to reset your password, then this user flow takes care of that. So there are different kinds of user flows are there, and I'll show you that in the demonstration. So it's up to you, like what user flow you want to set up. Some other components is the security identity provider component. So identity provider means, whenever you are logging or signing up in the Azure AD B2C, you also have the option to log in with the external identity provider called Facebook, Google, LinkedIn, and Twitter as well. So it's not always required that you need to store your credential in the B2C directory. You can have your credential or user setup in the different application and use that application to log into your Azure AD B2C applications, right? So here you can configure like any external identity provider like Facebook, Google, LinkedIn, and Twitter, and it's just a toggle option. You don't need to write a code, or you don't need to do any complex settings. You just need to turn in and turn off the flag in order to enable a particular external service provider. Company branding, of course, if you are setting up the Azure AD B2C login page or the sign up page, your customer always wants to have the branding that matches with their organization websites and other brandings as well. So for that purpose, you can use the company branding option in the Azure AD B2C, where you can upload the logo of your company, you can change the background of the pages and all. So just wanted to let you know, like, company branding is not something that completely change the UI of your Azure AD B2C sign in or sign up page or whatever page you are using. It is just to change the CSS branding of your UI pages, the user facing pages. If you have to customize the whole UI of the login or the sign up page, there is an option called custom page. So I'll show you that in the demonstration as well, where you can design your page, your own HTML page, can keep it in the blob storage, and can provide the URL in your Azure AD B2C configuration. So that I'll show you that as well. Another option is the roles and administrators. So of course, roles and administrators basically, it manages the permissions and the responsibilities of the different users or the people within your Azure AD B2C tenant. So, for example, if you want to restrict someone to change any settings in the Azure AD B2C, so you can restrict them by provide the limited security role, same like in the Dataverse we have. So if you want someone to give the access to configure the user flows as your ADB2C configuration, creating the page, branding and all, then you can provide them global administrator or Azure AD B2C policy administrator or the application administrator. So these are the three key roles. Sometimes user administrator can also do all the kind of the settings in the Azure AD B2C. Another component is the user attributes. So as you know, like if you have to display the sign up page or sign in page in the Azure AD B2C, you have to show certain attributes or the fields. For example, like username, email ID, password, or not the password, sorry, because password is the internal field. So some user attribute that you want to display on the sign up page, like first name, last name, surname, or the email address, city, job title, something like that. So that you can configure from the user attribute. So there is a defined list provided by the Microsoft, but if you have the requirement to create your own custom attributes, then you are allowed to do that as well, because sometimes you need an attribute that is not provided by the Microsoft in the user attribute list, so you can create your own custom attribute as well. Last four components are the security. So this section basically allowed a lot of things, like you can set up the authentication method. Authentication method basically don't go with the name. Basically here you can you know you can do some kind of settings related to the passwords. Okay, for example, like if you want to block some common password that user enter when they are logged into the application, so you can restrict them. For example, you don't want that user use the password called pass at the rate word1 or pass at the rate word2, so you can block the common users passwords as well. So this is you can configure in the authentication method settings as well. Conditional access basically allows you to conditionally access the Azure AD B2C account. For example, you want like a certain group of users uh, should have additional multi-level security or multi-factor authentication enabled for a group of user, but for a particular group of user you don't want to enable the multi-factor authentication. So this is kind of conditionally you want to apply some sort of security. Sometimes you want to block user on a particular IP address or particular location, so that you can also configure here. Risky users and detection is also a good feature. Sometimes when any malicious kind of activity or unusual activities happened with a particular user account, then it is automatically identified as a risky user, and this happens using the risk detection. So it is an internal monitoring job that Microsoft use it. So they basically check, like, is there any kind of unusual activity or unusual user account or login happen with the particular user account. So they basically highlight there. You can just go there and monitor it, and it's a very good feature of the Azure AD B2C. I'll show you that as well. Audit log is also a very good option so for the auditing purpose. So basically whatever changes are being done on the Azure AD B2C account, for example, you are changing your password, you are changing your profile information when you are logged into the application, so these all kind of activities manages in the audit log. Because sometimes if you are integrating your Azure AD B2C with the Power Pages, your reporting manager wants to have the list of analytics, or sorry, the list of users who log in on a particular basis, who are frequently log in into the Power Pages site, or probably they want to have the reports, right? So you can go and check the audit logs as well. This is very good option to track each and every activities what user is performing. API connector, it is very useful for the developer. Sometimes whenever you are configuring the sign in page or sign up page, and uh, you want to call any external API during that authentication process, so that API connector is the best way to do that. So basically, for example, like you have migrated your identity provider from any external database to the Azure AD B2C. Now what you want it, like, whenever user is login, whenever they are entering their username and password, before checking that username password in the B2C tenant or B2C directory, you want to check that username and password in some external application or an external database. So you can call an external API, you can call the APIs using the API connectors, and then you can do, whatever activities you want in your API, right? So this is basically a provide, the option for the developers. The last one is the custom policies. So you may have this question like, Azure AD B2C provide a lot of components. They provide the inbuilt user flows like sign in process, sign up process, or the password reset process. But sometimes, your client wants to extend the capabilities of the Azure AD B2C. So that you cannot achieve using the out of box capabilities of the B2C, right? So in that case, you need to create the custom policy. So they are quite complex, because you need to be very well versed in the XML. So because in the custom policy, you cannot write the code in the JavaScript, or in the C sharp or any other language. You have to configure each and everything in the XML, right? So Microsoft has provided the some templates in their GitHub repository. You can download that, and you can change according to your need. So custom policies basically is needed. I'm not going to discuss about the custom policy much in the session, because it will take hours to discuss. And I've already discussed that in the Zero to Hero session organized by the Victor. So you can find all those videos on the Victor YouTube channel as well. All right, but custom policies basically, it's whenever out of box is not possible, then you need to go with the XML configuration. You can design your own user flow. One simple example I just wanted to give you, like, if you want to send some kind of confirmation email whenever the user is sign up is successful, or for example, user has reset the password. So after resetting the password, you want to send the confirmation to the user that your password is successful changed. So this kind of capabilities right now is not possible in the out of box user flow or the default user flow. You need to go with the custom policy. So this is the one example, but there are plenty of example where you have to go with the custom policies. Yeah. All right. Now, if I have to integrate the Azure AD B2C with the Power Pages, how the authentication process looks like? What is the step-by-step processes? Okay. So the step one is, first of all, you need to set up the Azure AD B2C in your Power Pages site. I'll show you that as well quickly. So there are plenty of identity providers provided by the Power Pages. You can use the local login. You can use some external logins like Active Directory, Azure AD B2C, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, anything, right? The local login provider is not recommended as suggested by the Microsoft, as it has been deprecated. So your default identity provider should be Azure AD B2C. All right. So if you edit your Power Pages site and go to the setup section in the from the left panel, you will find the identity provider option under the authentication, and then you can find the Azure AD B2C option there. All right. All right. Now, step one, if you have to use the Azure AD B2C authentication process, first of all, you need to navigate to the Power Pages site, and then you need to hit sign in. Okay. So once you hit sign in, then the step two is you will be redirected to the Azure AD B2C login page. Now it depends like what kind of user flow you are using. If you are using sign in flow, then you will only see the option called enter your email address and the password. You don't you don't see the option of sign up here, right? Because sometimes you don't want user to sign up from the portal. You just want to invite them and send them the temporary username and password and ask them to log in using that credentials. Okay. It is one of the most common requirement from the customer side, because if you enable or expose the sign up option of Azure AD B2C, you can't control like who is signing up or who is registering on your portal. Not only in the portal, if you're integrating it with any external application, you can't control that, right? So that is the step number two. Power Pages site redirect user to the Azure AD B2C login page, where you need to enter your username and password. Now, once you enter your credentials, obviously it is going to authenticate, or it is going to be validated from the Active Directory, because your credential must be stored in your Active Directory. Then only you will, allowed to enter your username and password. So the user interact with the Azure AD B2C sign-in page. They enter their credentials, and Azure AD B2C verifies these credentials. Okay. Now, once the credentials are verified, Azure AD B2C generates a token. So token is nothing; it's just a verification ID, or the ID card they given to you, that okay, yeah, I have checked your credentials are valid. You are authenticated user. You are authorized user. This is the pass. Now go and start accessing your application. Right. So we call that token as a JWT token. So once the credentials are verified, Azure AD B2C generates a token and then redirect user back to the redirect URL specified in the initial request along with the generated token. Okay. So whenever you make the request from the Power Pages site to Azure AD B2C, there is a parameter you will see in the URL called redirect URL. Okay. That redirect URL basically decide, like, once the authentication is done, once your credentials are verified, you will be redirected to this particular URL, right? So that URL is nothing, it's just a Power Pages site URL, right? So if your credentials are valid, then redirect user to the Power Pages site with the generated token. Now, Power Pages site responsibility is to cross verify that particular token, whether this has been issued from the authenticated Azure AD B2C directory tenant, right? So the Power Pages site receive that token and validates its. This typically involves verifying the signature, checking the token expiration, and ensuring it was issued by the expected issuer, right? So you will see a lot of terminologies when you set up the Azure AD B2C, like issuer. So issuer is nothing; it's just a Azure AD B2C, because it issues the token, right? That's why we call it issuer. Once the verified token is done, if the token is validated, your Power Pages site grants the user access to the requested page. So the user is now authenticated and can interact with your Power Pages site. All right. So this is the whole authentication process looks like. But just for the customer, you will this process is quite seamless, quite a smooth process it is. You don't see all this kind of steps in between. This is just for your understanding purpose, like what exactly happens in the background. All right. Now I'll just quickly show you, like, what are the necessary steps you need to set up, or configure in order to set up the Azure AD B2C in your Power Pages site. All right. So there are two demos here. The first I will show you. Of course, I cannot set up each and everything from the scratch, because it's going to take a lot of time. So I've already set all the groundwork for you, and I only show you like how to set up, what are the major things you need to keep in mind, so that you don't end up facing any issues. So there are two basic demos here. The first thing is you need to configure the Azure AD B2C in your Power Pages site, and of course in the Azure AD B2C tenant. And then we will see how you can authenticate the new Power Pages customer, and the second is the existing Power Pages customer. For the new Power Pages customer, the process is quite straightforward. I think you already have done that. Most of the users have already done that, but for existing Power Pages customer, I have seen there are a lot of challenges are there, right? So we're gonna touch base on that. All right. So I'm just heading back to my Power Pages site. Perfect. Okay. So all right. So first of all, whenever you have to set up the Azure AD B2C, you need to set up. Uh, if you have to set up the Azure AD B2C in your Power Pages site, of course you need to open the Power Pages site first. Okay. So just go to the website in the left panel. So first you need to go to the make.powerapps.com, and then you have to choose the appropriate environment where your Power Pages site is installed. Okay. So and then in the left panel you need to click on website. If you don't see this option, just click on the more, and then select the website from here. Since I've already selected that, select the website and then pin that option in the left panel. So once you do that, you will see all the site that you have created in your environment, and then I have set up the Power Pages demo for this demonstration purpose. So just click on Edit. So this will take you to the Design Studio. So I've already opened that, so I don't want to open it again. Then this is the Design Studio where you can design your Power Pages site. So I'm not going to discuss that. uh, we need to set up the Azure AD B2C here, right? So you need to click on the security section and then click on the identity provider. So this will give you the list of all the identity provider that Power Pages site supports. So there are basically two types of identity provider. One is the local, and the rest of the ones are the external. Okay, so the external one where so why we call it as a local, because in this case your username and password are stored in the dataverse. Okay, since it is stored in the dataverse, a lot of customers don't recommend that to use it. Of course it is stored in the encrypted format, but from the GDPR perspective, a lot of countries, a lot of customer doesn't support to use the local sign-in. Hence Microsoft deprecated that option, but still you can use it for your own testing purpose or in the test environment, but it is not recommended for the production users. All right. And apart from that, there are some of the other identity providers called Azure AD, B2C, Facebook, LinkedIn, Google, Twitter, Microsoft. So whatever identity provider you want to use it, you just click here and just enable and disable that option. Right now in my environment, I have enabled local Azure AD and Azure AD B2C. Okay, so we will focus it on the B2C only. So if I click here, you see a lot of configuration, a lot of options that I need to put it here. The first is the provider name. This is nothing, it's just the name of the button that you see on the portal whenever you log in. So you can change that label as well. Site setting is basically, these are all the settings you have to configure in order to use the Azure AD B2C for your Power Pages site. So authority is nothing; it's just a issuer, right? I'll show you that in the B2C tenant how you have to capture all this information. Okay. So before explaining this all the things, I am directly heading over to the B2C tenant from where we are going to capture all these details. Okay. So this is my Azure AD B2C tenant. So as I told you, uh, Azure AD B2C tenant is completely different with the Microsoft Entra ID tenant. Okay, so if you can see here, this is my Microsoft Entra ID tenant, and this is my Azure AD B2C tenant. So D365 CRM org, this is basically my Azure AD B2C tenant, and if you can see here, default directory, this is my Microsoft Entra ID tenant. So both are completely different. So why I've opened or both the one, because in the Azure AD B2C I'm going to configure the user flows, like how the login process or the authentication process looks like, and in the Active Directory account or the Microsoft Entry account, I have set up the uh, I have done the settings. I have created the files to customize the sign in on the login page and all. Right. I'm not going to discuss about that in that session due to the time limit. My focus is basically on the Azure AD B2C today, how to set up and automate this invitation process. Okay. So these all the components I've already discussed that. You can see like app registrations, identity providers, API connectors, company branding. So I cannot discuss each and every component because each and every component is quite broad in their own. But you need to focus on the user flows and the app registration. So as I told you, since you want to integrate your Power Pages site with the Azure AD B2C, so you need to first set up your application here. Okay. So how you can set up your application? You need to go to the new registration. You need to provide the name of your application, select the supported account types, and just click on the register. Right. Once you register your application, it will give you a unique ID, as I told you. How you can capture the user ID? You can see like there is a unique application ID. So for example, like if I open this application, so let's say I have registered this application. So if you register this application just for your portal, so you can capture this application ID, and this application ID you need to put it here. Okay, so let me go here, application. So this is the application that I'm using here, Power Guide B2C app, and you can see this is the application ID. So this application ID basically plays a middleware between your Azure AD B2C tenant and the Power Pages site. Okay, since I'm going to use this application, so I copy this and paste it over here. So this is the one setting I have already configured. Now the second part is that again I'm going back to the B2C configuration, and then the second part is the user flow. Okay, because our main objective is to set up the sign in option. I have to create the sign in page or the sign up page for the Power Pages customer so that they can log into the application. So for doing that, you need to go to the user flows. Once you go to the user flow, if you don't see any user flow there in your tenant, then you just click on the new user flow, and here you can see like different process or the different types of flow type you can configure. Like if you want the user to sign up and sign in, then you can select this one. If you want to create a profile editing page where user can change their profile information, and if you want only sign up option, don't want to give them the sign in option. If you want to give only sign in option, then these are the different, and the password reset is basically for password reset purpose. Okay, so for example, if you want to set up sign in, so just select here, go down, and then just create it. Okay, once you create it, you need to provide a specific name for that particular user flow. So since I've already created that, so I'm not going to create that again. So I've created the user flows for login that will allow user only to log in on your application. It will not have any sign up option. Second is the sign up, and the third one is the password reset. Okay, I'm going to demonstrate to you the login process. Why I'm not demonstrating the sign up process? Because it's quite straightforward. This is basically for the new user. So imagine you have set up the Power Pages site, and all the new customers are going to set up on your all the new customer are going to access your site. They will register on your website, they will create their account, and they will start accessing your application or the Power Pages site. So you can simply use the sign up flow here. Okay, so if you have to configure the sign up flow, what you need to do it, you need to open it, click on the run user flow. Okay, once you click on the run user flow, you will get a URL here. Just click on that, and from here you get the issuer URL. You need to copy this URL. Okay, so this is nothing, it's just a authority URL, or you can also call it as a issuer URL. Okay, you need to copy this, go here, and just need to paste it over here. Okay, but always remember, it depends like what kind of user flow you want to set up. So if you want to set up the sign up sign in flow, then you need to run the sign up sign in user flow and copy this. Okay, if you want to configure only the sign in flow, then click on sign in, run user flow, click here, and again you need to copy this particular one. Okay, so I am using this one, but just for the demonstration you can also use the sign up as well if you want. Right, so I've just copied this and pasted over here. Right, so authority is done, client ID is done, redirect URL. So this is basically decide like once your token is validated, once your credentials are validated, where you want to redirect user to. Right, so this is the name of your portal, and you need to append with your this particular keyword, sign in AD B2C one. So this is default. So this is the name of your portal URL, and you need to append with this. Now where I have to configure this, so again go back to your B2C tenant. So for that we need to go to the application. So in the app registration, like my application was this, and here there is an option called authentication, right? So in the authentication section, you can see I have already configured this URL. So make sure the URL, so in your case, this URL will be different. If you are not using PowerX portal domain, your domain will be different, and you just need to copy your URL, and this part will remain same. All right. So I have done some other testing as well. So you don't need to copy this, but you need to put it this in the redirect URL section. Just click on the add URI, paste it over here, and then save it. All right. This is the second configuration. Now the third thing is the password reset setting, because either you are using sign up flow, or you are using sign up flow, or the sign in flow, whatever flow you are using, you need to use the forget password capability or the password reset capability, right? So for the password reset capability, again going back to the user flows, then here you have the option called password reset. Run this user flow, and then again you need to copy the issuer URL for this password reset. Okay, and you also need to copy the name of the password reset user flow, that you need to paste it over here. So the password reset policy ID is nothing, it's just the name of your password reset user flow. Default policy ID means what should be your default user flow. So my default user flow should be login. Okay, so you need to go here and just copy the login. So you need to copy as is, huh? You don't need to put it in the small letters or the capital letter. You just need to copy as is, whatever you have configured here. All right, and in the valid issuer, you need to provide all the issuer that you are using in the comma separated form, right? So in your authentication process, you are first using login process, and second you are using password reset process. So both the URL, you need to provide it in the comma separated form. So this is my first login one, and this is the second that I just copied, the password reset one. Okay, so this is you have to provide in the comma separated one. There are some additional settings. Registration claims mapping, what this is. So whenever you are, let's say you are doing, let's say you are using the sign up flow, and user are user is entering the informations like job title, first name, last name, and all, and you want to store that in the contact in the dataverse, and you map it with the contact fields, right? So the job title field is basically the dataverse field, and this job title field is basically the Azure AD B2C attribute. So I told about the Azure user attributes in the slide deck. So it is that. So how you can copy this? So if you go here, if you run the user flow, for example, like the login one, and just click here. If you go down, you probably see here. Okay, so in order to do that, what you can do it, if you configure any, so we have to check the sign up one, and then click on run user flow, and here you will find that particular name. So job title, family name, given name, emails. So here you can copy that, right? So this is the job title I copied from here and pasted over here. So this job title is the attribute name from the B2C, and this is basically the attribute name from the Dataverse. All right, so you need to map it, and if you have multiple mappings, then you need to do it in the comma separated forms. Okay, and the same goes with the login mappings. External logout contact mapping with email. So this setting is quite important, because imagine you already have the contact available in your dataverse, and when the user is doing the registration from the portal, you want that the duplicate contact should not be created. It should be linked with the existing contact of the same email address, right? So in that case, you have to use this contact mapping with email. Registration email and the external logout, this setting should be enabled in case of Azure AD B2C. So this is how your settings look like. Okay, so you have to do this kind of settings. Now if I talk about my use case, so I'm going to discuss about the new user flow and the existing user flow. So for the new user flow, as I already demonstrated to you, like you don't need to do anything. You just need to go to the sign up and sign in flow, copy this URL, and paste it over here, right? So by doing that, you will enable the sign up flow. Now once you run that, I cannot show that to you right now because I have configured the sign in flow, but I can show it from the B2C directly. So you can also check by running from run user flow here as well. So as you can see here, by running this, if you configure this user flow in your Power Pages site, once you hit sign in, you will be redirected to this particular page. Okay. And then you need to click on sign up now, and then you will see the list of all the attributes here. You need to provide that information and then hit create. Once you do that, you will be redirected to the Power Pages site, and then in the back end there will be two things happen. The first, your contact will get created in the Dataverse, and the second, your account will get created, or username or password gets created in the B2C tenant. Okay, this is the sign up process looks like, and this is basically you have to do for the new users, right? Because new user, you consider new user means the new customer for which you don't have any contact available in the Dataverse. So of course you don't need to worry about that. Every time the user will sign up, a new contact will get created, a new user account will be set up in the B2C tenant. The challenge is basically in the case of existing one. In the case of existing one, where your contacts is already available in the Dataverse, then how you can link with that existing contact, right? Because you need to invite them. You cannot create the duplicate contact, because whenever you sign up from the portal, a new contact gets created, right? So so there are a lot of use cases. The first use case is that I already have the contacts in the Dataverse. How can I give them access to the Azure AD B2C? Second use case, I already have the Azure AD B2C. I already have the contacts in the Dataverse. I give them the access to the portal, but I don't want to provide the sign up option on the portal. I want to allow them sign in on the portal, right? So in these kind of requirement, what you can do it, you can't provide the sign up option. You have to use the login option, right? So there are two ways. The first is you send them the temporary username and password. Once they enter their username and password, you forcefully redirect them to the password reset page, right? Because you have sent them the temporary password, and you want them to change their password when they are logging first time. Okay, so how you can do that? So for that purpose, I have created a user flow. I can also provide that in my repository as well. So if you want, you can download that. So if I go to the solution B2C, so there is a flow I have created here called create B2C user. Okay, now it's up to you, like how you want to run this flow. You can run this Power Automate automatically by triggering it by on the create of contact, or by by click on the button, or by turning on a particular boolean field of the flag. It's up to you, but this flow is quite useful in case of automating your user setup. So basically what I've done here, I have basically used couple of variables here, like first name, last name, emails and all. You don't need to set up all these variables, because I can directly pull that information from the B2 from the contact table as well, right? Token user, and here I've used the token user. I can use the token password. Client id, you need to use secret key and the tenant id. So here what we are going to do is we are going to use the graph API. Okay, because I'm going to interact with the Azure AD B2C user. So in order to set up or in order to interact with the Azure AD B2C account, I need to use the graph API. So I'm not going to discuss here like how to call the graph APIs and all. Probably in my mentorship video I can demonstrate that as well. But you can simply get that information from your MS Docs or MS Learn as well. So you will also get that information, like what are the necessary privileges is required in order to call the graph API to create the user in the B2C. But there are some specific thing, like in order to use the graph API, you need to first register your application in the B2C tenant. So since I've already done that, so if you can go to the app registration, I've already registered an application for Graph API. So this application registration is completely different from the application registration you have done it for the portal. Okay, so for Graph API you always have to do the registration. So you need to capture the application ID, you need to capture the tenant ID, you need to create a certificate here. So all these three information I have already created that and then pasted over here: client ID, secret key, and the tenant ID. Okay, now this is not enough, you also need to provide the permission as well. So click on the API permission, and then you need to provide all these permissions like read, write. Also it depends like what you want to perform. So how you will get to know like which permission you need to provide? You need to Google it. Okay, for example, you need to create the user in the B2C account. So you just simple Google it, create user account in B2C using Graph API. So the first article you will get it from the Microsoft Docs, and they will provide you, and they have provided the list of all the permissions then you need to provide in order to interact with the B2C account. So click on the add a permission, click on Graph API. You need to provide delegation or application permission, whatever it is from here, and then click on add permission. Once you do that, you need to also hit grant admin consent as well. To do that, you need to have the global administrator right. So if you don't provide, if you don't click on this option, you don't see this green check mark here, right? So I've already set up this Graph API, so I'm not going to demonstrate that in deep dive. So the first step is I'm going to get the access token, okay, because it's a OAuth authentication, and here you I need to provide all the secrets, client IDs, and everything. I know like this is from the this is for the demonstration purpose, but in the real time, you don't need to hardcode these values here. You need to keep it in the configuration. The best way to do it in the environment variables, you can keep it there so that you can keep your configuration secure using keywords as well. So you this step basically use all this configuration you need to provide here, whatever you capture, and then you need to call this login.microsoft.com to get the token. So once you get the token, you need to call this particular Graph API user to create the user in the B2C tenant. Okay. Now creating the user in the B2C tenant is quite simple, but the main thing here is the force change password setting. Okay. So once you create it, or whenever you are creating this using Graph API or whatever mechanism, you can also use the PowerShell script as well. This setting must be true, because this will basically force user to go to the reset password page after their first login. Okay, and the rest of the things you can dynamically fetch it, like email I am directly getting it from the Dataverse contact table. The password you can generate it random, so I can provide this flow to you, but it's up to you. Like if you want to create some complex password or simple password, you can generate it using this Power Automate and put it some random password here so that it should not duplicate. Once you do that, you just need to send an email to the user. Okay, so the main thing here is you need to set this force change password to true. So let's quickly show you like how it works. So if I go back to my contacts, so first let me delete this so that it should not create any issue. And the active directory, go to the users. So let me delete this user for now. All right. Okay, so what I'm going to do it, this is my Dataverse contact. So imagine I already have the contacts available in my Dataverse. So let me create that contact. Okay, so this is the basically the use case in case of the existing user flows, right? So let me store this information like this. uh, Put my email ID like this and save it. All right. So since I've created it manually, but just imagine you already have this contact available in your database. Now you want to invite this particular contact to access your Azure AD B2C, right? So there are two options. You can ask this customer, like go to the portal, click the sign up option, register yourself, and your account will automatically link to with this contact by using that flag I shown you right here in the B2C. This basically link your contact mapping with email. So this is also an option. But if you allow the sign up option, as I told you, it will allow the sign up to everyone, right? It's not only for the invited users. So what you want to do it, you want to only give the sign in option, you want to send the temporary user and password. So run I have triggered this Power Automate on click of this flag. So whenever this allow portal access to true, I want to trigger this Power Automate. And again, I'm saying this is just for the demonstration purpose. You can use this Power Automate in whichever way you want. Okay. So I just need to turn on this flag and save it. Let's see how it works. So if I go here and then create B2C users, so I'm still waiting to run this flow. All right, so started running 2 seconds, 4 seconds. All right, it's got failed. So let's see what is the error. So the error is invalid value specified for the property issue assign ID of resource object identity. So what went wrong here? Let's investigate. Repeat it. Okay, so if I go back here, I think I have accidentally removed something. So if I go here, all right. Oh, that's crazy. Why this email field got removed? All right. Okay, so I think it's accidentally removed. So let me delete this and try it again. Since the email ID got blank, due to that the flow got failed. So let me see, like it has not created that perfect. All right. So let me create it again. Okay, save it. Okay, now this time it got saved. Let me turn on this flag and save it again. Hopefully this time it should work fine. So I'm already stressed this 2 minutes late. Okay, then let me refresh it again. Hopefully this time it should working fine. Okay, running and succeeded. Perfect. Okay, so this basically, so now what I expected, if I go to the B2C tenant, if I refresh it, I can see there is a new user account got created with the email address, and I should expect the invitation email as well. So if I go here, click here, I should expect the email. Perfect. So I can see email here. So this is the email template. You can use it whatever you want. You can change it as per your need as well. I need to copy this. You can see like the portal link is also there. I have the email and I have the temporary password as well. So just need to copy this and paste it over here. Oops, I think something is wrong here. Oh, okay. I got this email. Let me first preview it. So it's up to the user, like whether they can directly use this link, portal invitation link, to sign up on the portal. So go here. I think I have changed something recently, that's why it's not working. So let me paste it over here, and then okay, and then so user flows, login. You don't need to do that because I have made some changes recently, so that's why I have to do this. But let me try this one. Perfect. So you can see, like, there is some changes in the link, so that we can also update that as well. So I will update that and will provide you the updated one in my GitHub. So you need to click directly. The customer will directly get this link. They will click on that link. Of course, we can make it hyperlink, and then the email address and the temporary password. So email address is already auto populated there, and I need to put this password here. Okay, and you can see there is no sign up option. Of course, there is only sign in option here. If I hit sign in here, the password has expired. Oh, that's cool. Let me go here, refresh it. uh, Email picture. Okay. Oh, that's cool. Okay, let me try in a different way. If I go here, let me try to change this. I'm not sure why it's showing password has expired. It should. So if I go here, if I check the email, Power Pages demo. So okay, so this link we have to update from here. Okay, so flows, login, right? So flow, what this? Okay, and then and paste it over here. All right, save it. Let's try it again. So let me delete this again. So ideally, it should take me to the password reset page because I have enabled this setting and it was working fine. Unfortunately, it's showing password expired. So let's try it one more time. If that doesn't work, probably it will work in your environment. So I will give it to you. I'll not take much time to extend the session. So let's try me one more time. So go here, again, contact, delete this. New first name. All right, save it. Okay, now let me allow portal access. Save. Go back to the flow. Let me refresh it again. It's running. Succeeded. Perfect. And straight away I got the email. Hopefully this should work. Copy. Okay, then hit here, paste and go. Okay, go here, and where is my password? Oh, I think this is something wrong. I need to check that. So I'm really sorry for that. That's not working, but it was working quite a few minutes before. But I think we should try it again in your tenant. Probably it should working fine. I think I have made some mistakes in my Azure AD B2C setting a while ago. That's why it's not working. But I'm going to provide this flow to you. It's definitely going to work for you. So the main thing here is, if it's not working for me, I will definitely try it and I will update you as well. But the main thing here as well, whenever you are creating the user, you need to enable this particular setting, the force password next sign into true. Okay. I can quickly check one thing. Probably it's due to that this issue is occurring. Let me quickly check if it is due to that. Then I can quickly fix it. If I go to login, I think go to the properties. So there is one setting that I'm missing here. All right, this one, force password reset. So I need to enable this, I guess, force password reset. Due to this, it is not working. So I'm not sure whether it will immediately reflect or not, because since I've created this user flow a while ago, that's why it's probably I missed the setting. But just for your reminder purpose, you just need to enable this force password reset and cell password reset option enable, so that you are allowed to use that. So let me try one more time last. If that works, if doesn't, then it should probably work in your tenant, because it is due to the setting only, and I'm sure. Okay, so let me delete this contact again, and then of course from the user as well. Delete. All right, so finger crossed last time. New first name. Yeah, save it, and then allow portal access. Save it, because sometimes when you make any settings or changes in the Azure AD B2C, it takes a couple of minutes, probably 10-15 minutes, but I'm just checking whether it immediately reflect or not. So again, I'm going here. Let me. All right, I got the email straight away. Finger crossed. Copy it, paste it. Okay, and then copy, paste, sign in. Oh, so it's still not reflecting, but yeah. So I think I'm done. I just wanted to tell you, like, you need to enable this setting. I just enabled this user flow a while, quite a few minutes ago. That's why I forgot to enable the setting. But in order to send the user a temporary username and password and allow them to access it, and once they log in, you force them to redirect to the password reset page. You need to enable that settings. Okay, so this is the force reset password setting that you need to enable. And the second option that I've already told you in my, you know, Power Automate. So that force reset option. Yeah, that's it. I think I'm running out of time. Over to you, Return. Thank you so much.